Hey guys, welcome to 3 Mississippi. I'm Mike, and I'm planting food in late fall for a winter garden. Let's do this.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd, just you and me together. It will all seem better outside, just us in the sky. Part of this circus, is it innate? Feels like a heavy burden, but I can't relate. Do our actions even matter, or is this our fate? At least now I'm feeling better, I know I'm here to stay. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd, just you and me together. It will all seem better outside, just us in the sky.
My shop, and my shop is a mess right now, and it's a mess for good reasons. I got a lot of projects going on. We're actually planning a fishing trip right now, a guy's trip, so that's gonna be a lot of fun, going trout fishing in Arkansas in an undisclosed location. But I pulled out a bunch of my trout gear. It's been a while since I've been trout fishing, so I had to see what all I had. Somebody tell me if you know what that is. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Fun little game. But anyway, so going through the trout stuff, that's why this table over here is covered with that. But what I'm doing right here right now is actually working on planting some seeds, okay? And I know some of you guys are gonna go, dude, what are you doing planting seeds in late September? Well, I'm growing food, that's what I'm doing. Depending on where you live, your growing season is gonna vary. Our first frost is like 45 to 50 days from now. Okay, and a lot of things can grow in 45 to 50 days. You need to understand that these little guys right here, radishes, 25 days it says. I've had mostly success with like 28 days on radishes. These beets right here and these carrots right here actually like cold. They're gonna taste better and perform better after it gets cold. Okay, so if you can get them planted in the fall, get them established, and then let them get introduced to some cold, you're gonna get better flavor out of them. And then other things like these mustard greens, this is what I'm planting right now. This is only a 40-day crop. I'm gonna have no problem getting mustard greens before that first frost, and mustard greens actually can handle a little bit of frost. Let's talk about some other things that can handle frost. Up here I've got, and these have already started to germinate. I planted these a few days ago. I got my red iceberg, my black hawk lettuce, my butter crunch, and wasabi arugula up there. And then down here, I have collards, red Russian kale, baby bok choy, Swiss chard, broccoli, and cauliflower. Now, a lot of these are actually in the brassicas family, and brassicas can handle a bit of cold, okay? So even though my first frost is gonna approach before some of these are ready to eat, they don't mind. They don't mind a little frost. They'll continue to grow, and I'm gonna get food out of this, you know, well into the early portions of winter. And then another thing that you have to grow, you have to plant in the fall, guys, is garlic right here. So I've got 5 pounds of one of the most common garlic called music garlic, okay? And then I've got a pound here of the red Russian garlic, and then I've got several of the elephant garlics, which, fun fact, not actually in the garlic family, it's a leek, but tastes like garlic. It's one of those ducks that walks like a duck, but it's not a duck. So anyway, these need to be vernalized. That's a cool, fun word. Very similar to your artichokes. Vernalization just means that it needs to go through a winter. It needs to know it went through a winter before it can then do its next thing. So we plant these things in the fall, we get them established, then we get a winter, and then they kind of slow down, kind of dormant, and then spring comes and they explode. All right. If you don't vernalize your garlic properly and grow it through a winter, it won't break up into multiple cloves. You'll have this weird 1 clove round garlic thing. You don't want that. So that's what we're doing right now. We're getting a bunch of seeds started, and we're doing some maintenance out in the garden so that we can get some of these things planted within the next week out in the garden. Let's go do that. So what do I do to amend my soil here at this new garden plot in Mississippi? Well, soil's an important thing to talk about. I want you to look at this soil right here. And if you know anything about what soil's supposed to look like, that's not very good. This soil is pretty depleted. I had a soil sample taken before I started the garden last year, and my pH was at 5.2. N, P, and K were all extremely low, right? N is your nitrogen, P is phosphorus, K is potassium. And you know, what happens with land like this? This was pasture land and probably cut for hay quite a bit. And when you grow hay and then you cut it and bale it and take it off the property, and then you grow more and you cut it and bale it and take it off the property, you're constantly pulling the not only the NPK, which you can easily add back with, you know, a triple 13, but you're pulling your micronutrients and your trace minerals out of that ground and cutting it off and taking it away. And when you do that for a long time, you run into problems with barren soil. I mean, that's what happened essentially with the Dust Bowl back in the day. It was a little more complicated than that, and it was combined with like a really bad 6-year drought. But they were over cultivating the land, overusing the land, and then to make it even worse, they were deep cultivating, which we're not doing here. They were doing like your bottom plows. We'll get in other videos to my thoughts on tilling versus no tilling versus minimal tilling, which is where I like to be. And this has a lot to do with, you know, not only that soil structure, but also the things that live underneath the surface of the soil, the mycorrhizal fungi that really need to handshake with the plants that are growing above the soil, so that photosynthesis can take place in those plants. Those plants can then push fructose and things that, you know, down to the mycorrhizal fungi, and the mycorrhizal fungi can take things from deeper down in, you know, trace minerals, assist with water transfer up to those plants. So that's like, you know, a little kind of next level science stuff. The main thing we want to focus on right now is our soil structure in these raised beds, essentially, that I have here, these rows, and get them ready to be able to start planting. So the first thing that I did with these, now these were actually tilled last season and I didn't plant in them. I thought I was going to, but I didn't. And that's a bummer because I kept them covered and didn't let any weeds grow. So now the soil is really even worse. Like if you look at some of these rows down here where I didn't get anything planted in them, but I let the weeds grow up, and I've weed whacked it a couple of times, but at least I have root structure in those rows. And when I terminate them, those roots down in there will actually kind of become food, right? So I'm starting from scratch here with some kind of barren dirt and some dead rows. So I've added a bunch of this hog compost that I got from a local farm, and now I'm gonna add a couple of other things. Remember I said my pH was like 5.2. I'm gonna address that by adding some lime, and then I'm gonna add some azomite, which is a cool thing that you guys should look up and see if it's for you. But that's what we're gonna do right now. Azomite. So this stuff is really cool. It's like super chalky. It reminds me of like a super fine flour meets convection sugar meets maybe like diatomaceous syrup. It comes from one place in Utah, I believe it's in Utah, where there's an ancient seabed and they mine this azomite out of there, and it has like 70 or more trace minerals. Things that the ground should have, but a lot of times are depleted. And this is them in concentration. So what I'm doing is I'm taking about a scoop this size, okay? Probably that's about a pound, a little over a pound. And I'm gonna spread this over 100-foot row. So not a lot, about a scoop of these per 100-foot row is what I'll add. And you don't really have to add this every year. You know, if you do soil samples every few years and you start seeing you're deficient in some of those trace minerals, this is one way to add them. There are other ways to add them, guys. One of my favorites is, but it takes a little longer. One of my favorites is sunflowers. Sunflowers have tap roots that go way down, and they find trace minerals that are down deeper, and then bring them up to the plant, okay? They deposit them in the plant's system, in the leaves, in the stalk. So then you have to take that plant after the season's over, compost it, reintroduce that compost to the top of your bed. And over years of doing this, okay, you're creating super healthy soil. What I'm doing with the azomite here and with the hog compost is I'm speeding this up this first year so that good practices over the next several years can continue to grow and build that soil and maintain good healthy soil. Your plants are only going to be as healthy as the environment that you have them growing in, right? If the environment is not very biodiverse, they're going to be spindly and they're not going to be the greatest, healthiest plants that provide you the most nutrients. That's our goal, right? If we want to grow food, we want to grow the best food we can grow. Let's go add some dirt to some dirt, some minerals to some dirt. The next thing I'm going to add, guys, is garden lime. This is how we adjust our pH up, okay? Which is most commonly the problem. When your pH is off, it's usually too low. We really want our pH to be 6.5, even pushing closer to 7 is fine with me. But 5.2, 5.3, 5.4 is really bad. I'm gonna add garden lime right now. Now, an important thing to remember about garden lime, guys, is especially this pelletized type, it does not work immediately, okay? It can take months for this to actually break down and impact the pH of the soil. So while I'm adding it now, and yes, I am gonna be working this row together and planting some lettuces and some brassicas, this row is really gonna be its healthiest. It's really gonna be just ready to rock by spring. When I combine all of these ingredients, water it, grow some lettuce in here, get some root structure down in there, terminate it and put some kind of a cover crop over it maybe, and then in the spring, whoo, we're gonna be rocking and rolling. it's never too late to be amending your soil, as long as you're not over amending or doing anything wrong. Now we're gonna mix all this stuff together and reform this row. This is gonna be fun. Check out the row builder.
Just close your eyes and let them rest. I know it's hard to fall asleep, but do your best. 'Cause there's a place that I go to when I wanna hide from all the shades of blue. 'Cause at times I think of leaving, my mind takes me back to fall, when the snow begins to sing goodnight to warm. But I will never leave your side, you're the reason to all my pride, never wither and runs dry, and your roses are my guides. Goodbye, my friend, our love remains, but not this way. I'm in your garden as a day. Just feel the wind. If you look close, you see the lilies dance and how they slowly grow. I'm counting years as they go by. Now all the lilies gone and days is brought to life. 'Cause at times I think of leaving, my mind takes me back to fall, when the snow begins to sing goodnight to warm. But I will never leave your side, you're the reason to all my pride, never wither and runs dry, and your roses are my guides. Goodbye, my friend, our love remains, but not this way. I'm in your garden as a tale. But I will never leave your side, you're the reason to all my pride, never wither.
I didn't add my azomite and my lime to the second row. I got a little carried away with the tractor, so I'm gonna add that now, and I'll go ahead and hit the rows a second time. This first row actually didn't build very well in the beginning here. It did well once it got going, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit both of these rows from the opposite direction, add my additives to row number 2. Yeah, and then we'll have 2 rows ready to run drip tape, run our mesh fabric, and plant a whole bunch of lettuce and brassicas and beets and carrots and radishes, and yum. Look what I just found, guys. One of my squash plants is still producing some acorn squash in here amongst the weeds. I just found, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 acorn squash. They're really small, but we're gonna take them and eat them anyway, because we like acorn squash. Appreciate you hanging out at 3 Mississippi. Gardening is real. I garden all year round. There's different types of gardening in different types of the year. That's all that matters. I appreciate you hanging out. Ooh, there's another one underneath these weeds right here. Oh, man, it's like Christmas out here. Guys, don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell down there so you get notifications when we post more videos or when we go live. And God bless you guys. As always, safety's off.
She met Clover, and then Clover tried to play, started bucking and whatever, going wild because she's 3. Spooked her. Spooked me because I wasn't expecting her, because they went nose to nose.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try and put that bareback pad on her and tighten it, but I'm not going to get on her.
Okay.
Well, not good, but good enough. But actually, that fits you really good. Oh. Stepping in crap. At least she didn't crap on me.
That's true. It would have been really great if she waited till you were brushing out her tail, huh? You got brushed twice today, Beulah.
She's dirty when I brushed her.
Yeah, she was dirty this morning when I brushed her. I think when I'm not looking, she's out there rolling around.
Probably. This might be too big on her. Oh.
Really? Got the smallest one.
Well, I haven't looked at the other side.
Oh.
But I'm just saying. If it is, it's not by much. It might be. Yeah. This is as tight as it goes.
Really?
It's still too big on her.
Dang it.
I can always pick up a different cinch. Because this fits her perfect. Up here.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know.
She says tiny tummy.
I mean, that's how much space there is.
Oh, yeah.
Between
It's gonna
her-
slide right around.
Yeah. I would,
Hi, Mama. I know. I don't
would
have
go
anything for you,
right
baby.
underneath. I have treats over there for her.
Oh.
But she doesn't know that. Although now she does because she heard me say the word treat.
I don't know if she really knows the word.
She might.
She doesn't seem to react
She
to
knows
it.
the word sweet feed.
Oh, do you know sweet feed? Uh-oh.
Well, you're not getting sweet feed. I walked her around with the bareback pad on, but I gave her some treats because she decided not to kick me. So that was cool. Progress. Progress. That's a sweet baby. That's a sweet baby. I finally learned the bank robber stop. So I think today was a win. Yeah. Like a win? Did I win? Just how dirty she is.
I know. She needs another bath.
Ugh. People who own gray horses will tell me that that's all they do is roll. She has only rolled in something that actually got her really dirty, like noticeably dirty, once since she's been here. But I worked with a mostly gray horse in California, and his favorite thing to do was roll in the manure pile. So, you know, they'll do that. But, oh well. That's a baby.